If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. This African proverb inspires Foundation's community partnership to foster collaboration among networks for special needs children, youth, and families in Bucks County. Welcome to FCP Conversations Online, featuring Bucks County nonprofit leaders. Join our discussion with community organizations that share our mission and are making a difference in the lives of our neighbors.
Hello, I'm Ron Bernstein, the Executive Director of Foundation's Community Partnership. Welcome to FCP Conversations Online, and thank you for joining us. Our guest today is Denise Quirk, the Executive Director of Special Equestrians, located on Street Road in Warrington. Denise, welcome, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Ron. I'm delighted to be here.
Well, let's start out with the obvious. What's so special about Special Equestrians?
There's a couple things that are special about Special Equestrian, namely the people and the horses. We're a therapeutic riding center, and we serve people with disabilities of all kinds from ages 3 to 70. We have dedicated volunteers, a trained staff, and absolutely amazing horses.
Is this a new concept, therapeutic riding, and where did it start?
It actually dates back as far as people have been riding horses. But as a field, it started in the 1950s in Denmark with a woman who rode in the Olympics. And from her experience came both the Paralympics, which is a very high level, and then therapeutic riding that came here to the United States in the 1960s. And it has been a field that has come together under a federation where we all train together called PATH International, which is the Professional Association of Therapeutic Horsemanship International. So through those years, it has become a field that has embraced all kinds of new science and technology and horsemanship. And Special Equestrians started in 1982. So we were actually early on in the field and have grown since then.
So really, you guys work with patients, young kids, adults with a variety of disabilities. And there's something about them learning to be around horses, ride horses, work with horses, that is therapeutic.
Right. So we work with people with 60 different diagnoses, as I said, from ages 3 into their 70s. So we have people who come to us as individuals with different kinds of disabilities. About 60% of our students are on the autism spectrum. We have a program for seniors, and we have a program for at-risk youth. And what all of those people have in common is special needs. So we take what we do with horses and we adapt it for them both therapeutically and recreationally. A couple of things that really work well is that from a physical sense, horses move very much like people do. So we can put people on horses who have some limited functionality or some kind of a paralysis, and the horses can actually stimulate their bodies to start working properly. And on an emotional and cognitive level, going through the patterns and sequences of brushing a horse, of riding a horse, of steering, all of those things help people with coordination, balance, the way they actually think about things and follow directions. So all of those things come together as we're teaching them to ride and just to be around horses and to relate to another sentient being, all come together and help them in lots of different ways.
Well, where did the horses come from? And tell us a little bit about how they're trained.
Okay. Many of our horses come to us through friends or a word-of-mouth network. Most of them are donated to us or sent to us on a lease agreement so that when they're no longer suitable for the program and ready to retire, they'll go back to their homes. We bring them in and we'll train them for about 3 months before we actually put any students on them. And what we like are horses that are a little bit older, so maybe in their teens, who have had another career, so they clearly know who they are, and they've been trained to walk, trot, and canter, maybe jump. Some of our horses have been show horses, they've been police horses, they've been race horses. We've had a variety of different horses with different kinds of experiences. And then we'll train them to be able to deal with a lot of different people handling. We have about 100 volunteers that come in every week that handle the horses. So horses have to be comfortable with different people. They have to be comfortable with people who are both timid and maybe overly stimulated. So they have to be able to adapt to all different kinds of personalities.
Well, why horses? Is there something special about their nature that makes this work?
Yes. One of the amazing things about horses is that they are incredibly empathic. So they can actually read emotions in people. As prey animals, they're always on alert. They're always being aware of where they are in space. They're herd animals, so they are social animals. So interacting is a life instinct for them. And as they've been domesticated and learned to ride and be ridden and to be workhorses and carriage horses and all other kinds of activities, they've learned to interact with people. So we can capitalize on that. With our at-risk youth, for example, we'll bring those kids in and we'll have some either very timid kids or very aggressive kids. And when they start trying to deal with 100 or a 1,100-pound horse, it kind of sets them back, and they have to think about where they are in space and how they relate to the horses, and they learn to be gentle, and we can take all of that and they learn about their own self-awareness, and we have them work in teams. So all of that brings it together, and the horses do a lot of the teaching because the horses will feed back to people how they're reacting.
Well, I definitely get the sense that you're a horse lady. Tell us a little bit about your background and how you got started.
I've been a horse person pretty much all my life. I started to ride when I was 11. I was managing a barn by the time I was 13. My other big love in life is books. So school was always of interest to me. So pretty much my career has been around education. I've got a doctorate in history, and I've taught history and women's history. I've also always been interested in nonprofit work. So putting all those two together, I was asked to come into Special Equestrians and was able to bring my more than 30 years of experience working with horses and knowing really how they think and how they can help people and how important they've been in my life, also with my nonprofit background, and crucially putting all those things together to have Special Equestrians be a place that really fits into the community. Bucks County has a very large population of people with special needs, and so we've been able to grow the program and bring that together with both the horse community and the special needs community.
Well, what are some of the organizations that you've been collaborating with here in Bucks County?
We've worked with Lakeside School. We've worked with some of the Central Bucks school districts. Some of their autism intensive support classrooms have come to us. We've just started a very exciting program with Woman's Place. And we've worked with Christ Home, as well as the Quaker School. That's down in Horsham.
So when you work with those agencies, sometimes it's for their clientele, and sometimes it's a staff training program?
Yes, we have done some of that with some of the schools that we've worked with. We've had their teachers and their counselors come in to train our instructors, all of whom are already trained with dealing with different kinds of disabilities and other kinds of special needs. And also we're working with their students.
Well, I want to make sure we cover some more ground quickly. How many horses are there in the barn?
We've got 15 horses right now.
And how many people come and participate at Special Equestrians?
We've got about 130 people who come in as individuals, and then we've got another 50 or so that come in with our different groups.
And if members in our community are really interested in learning more about Special Equestrians, volunteering, donating, how do people get involved with you?
Well, we've got our website that has all of our information about our programs, about our volunteering, about our fundraising needs. So that's a very good resource for all of that. We like to let people know that if there is someone who could benefit from our programs, part of our mission is to never turn anyone away because of financial need. So we have a tuition assistance program. We do a lot of fundraising. We get a lot of support from community and organizations and funders. And so from the website or a phone call to our office or come to visit us, there's always someone who can answer any questions and let people know about our programs.
And is there some special equipment that the riders need, or do you provide that?
We do. All of our riders have to wear an approved helmet. We have those available. And then for our horses, we have all kinds of adaptive equipment. So we have different kinds of saddles that riders can ride in depending on their particular needs. We have different kinds of reins that help with people with different tactile issues. So we make all kinds of adaptive arrangements for both the riders and the horses. And while we're doing all these kind of therapeutic things, we're also teaching them some riding skills. And some of our students have been with us long enough that they're actually participating in horse shows.
Well, I think that all sounds great, Denise. How long have you been there now?
I've been there, I'll be 4 years in April.
And you've been in Bucks County during that time? Or were you in the county before?
Well, I actually grew up just outside of Bucks County, but I've pretty much lived here on and off most of my life. I was in New York for about 25 years.
Okay, well then you should be able to answer my next question, which is one of my favorite questions. Tell me one of your favorite lunch spots here in Bucks County.
My favorite lunch spot is Aman's Indian Bistro in Chalfont.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Terrific food, and they have a lovely lunch buffet.
Hey, Denise, I'd really like to focus on two more things quickly. Number one, I know that you have some bereavement work that you guys do at the barn. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, it's a really interesting program. We've worked with Hunterdon Hospice, and it's for children who have lost a family member. And they come in and they spend about 4 hours with us in a workshop that's based on some Native American symbolism. And then they do an art project, and they do a ride with the horses. Our volunteers get involved. It's really a very moving, emotional experience. Everyone has gained from participating in it. And we also work in a different kind of support, but with Gilda's Club, with people that have someone in their family who has cancer. So we do some work with people who are facing some life challenges like chronic illnesses or someone who may have passed away.
And I assume you guys are also have some kind of partnership with Del Val?
We do. I've been teaching an equine-assisted therapies course there, and those classes are held partially at Special Equestrians, so those students get some hands-on experience. It's been a really wonderful experience for my staff and for the students to get that kind of experience, bringing on the next generation of people who want to work with horses in a therapeutic manner, and also allowing the students to graduate from Del Val with one more skill in their pocket. And it's been a really exciting partnership.
Oh, that sounds great. Well, Denise, thank you so much for being here with us today. Thank you for the work you do in our Bucks County community, taking the time to share your experience and knowledge leading Special Equestrians. Thank you to our listeners for your involvement in our community. Visit our Facebook page, like us, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Join the conversation.
Foundation's Community Partnership believes that when we join forces, we're stronger. We are better able to support the behavioral health and human service needs of children and young adults in Bucks County. Join us again for FCP Conversations Online. Let's go farther together.